Thanks again for tuning into Sin's Workshop. Hope you're all having a wonderful day. Hope you all can hear me. I got a new mic, so my other one, I noticed the sound quality wasn't that great. And thanks to your wonderful donations on Buy Me a Coffee, I was able to purchase a new mic. So, yay! Thanks again for all your support. So, now, we're going to be talking about A River Enchanted by Rebecca Ross. This is Ross's, I guess, her introduction into adult fantasy. I've read her young adult stuff, Sisters of Sword and Song, and I really did like that book a lot. And I found myself really liking this too because it was kind of an enemies to lovers fantasy romance. And I know, what is it with me reading these romance-esque things? I don't go looking for it. It is not something I go looking for. But I will say, I really did like the progression of the enemies to lovers romance in the story. You know, it follows Jack and Adara. They live on the island of Cadence, and this is a magical island. Now, Jack has been away for some time at music school on the mainland, learning to be a bard. He's a harpist, really. He loves playing the harp. But Adara has tricked him into coming home because she needs a bard. And she needs a bard because young girls have gone missing on the island, and she thinks the Fae are taking the children. So she needs a bard to enchant the Fae so that she can question them. And I really like that element of the story. But I'll talk a little bit more about that. Words matter in a second. I really want to talk about the enemies to lover romance. As children, they did not like each other, and you really don't see why. You know, he was a bastard, so everyone didn't really consider him. He never really thought of the island as his home, basically, because of the way people treated him. It's not that they treated him unkindly. It's just he was a bastard with an unknown father. So a lot of people on the island were just kind of like hesitant, like, who did you sleep with to have this kid? And she wouldn't tell. His mother wouldn't tell. Wouldn't even tell him either. So he has a lot of pent-up resentment towards his mother as well. So he has a very complicated relationship. But with Adara, she calls him her old menace, and you don't really see why she called him menace. You know, you think it's just a childhood feud, right? Of these two kids just not getting along. They each wanted something that the other one had. He had more freedom than her, as she was the chieftain's daughter, basically. So there's a lot of pent-up resentment there, but now they're adults. And you get to see how their dynamic has sort of shifted and changed. That enemies to lovers romance, it has matured. Just as these characters have matured. And you really do see that maturity in the story, and I really did like that. It's probably why I enjoyed it so much. And also, it wasn't the focal point of the story. Yes, the story does focus a lot on these two characters coming together because they have to come together. They have to sort of find the they have to find what is happening to these missing girls. They have to unravel this mystery. And it could be the rival clansmen. It could be the Fae. There's lots of elements at play here. So he has to sing or play to a certain piece to the elements. And I really did like how the Fae were attached to certain elements. You had the water Fae, the earth Fae, and then the air Fae. You didn't really see the fire Fae, but I'm pretty sure they're going to pop up in the second book. There's a little story about the fire Fae in here and why they're not really featured. So I really did like that whole elemental streak the story has to it. Now, that being said, it really is a mature story. It does resonate a lot with young adult readers, I would think. It did with me, and I like to read a lot of young adult stuff. I do tend to read adult fantasy as well. Not so much sci-fi. Well, no, that's not true. I did finish Dune. But you do see that maturity in Ross's writing, or as I did, rather. It definitely does ring differently than her previous works. It is more mature. The pacing is much slower. I will say this. It is a slow and steady story. You're reading it for that mystery. You're reading it to see these two characters come together right from the second chapter, right? The end chapter, I went to my friend Gina, and I'm like, this is an enemies to lovers romance. You need to read it. She's like, is it really? And I'm like, yes, it is. I called it from the beginning. Like, I instantly knew it. Now, that predictability didn't take away from my enjoyment of the story because, again, it wasn't the focal point of the story. You see these two characters coming together as comrades and then really friends before really maturing into that whole I have feelings for you before Ross just takes it away from you, because she does. But you become invested in their relationship because you're seeing that maturity and you're seeing them develop that relationship from old childhood grudges to the mature adults that they are now. And I really did take that to heart. I really did think it was an engaging story. As slow as it was, I didn't really... I'm saying it's slow because I know it's a slow story, but for me it didn't seem... It was steady. It was a steady pace. I think calling it slow is unfair to the narrative. It doesn't move at a super quick pace, but you read it at a super quick pace because you become invested in that story and that mystery and the plot twist. Some of them I knew it. Some of those plot twists I'm like, I knew it! Not all of them. That last one at the end, didn't see that one coming. Not a mile away. Not like that. So overall, I would have to give this book 4 to 5 stars. It was really engaging. I'm really excited to read the sequel. Yes, I've already bought it. It is already on my shelf. Just can't remember which shelf. I need more shelves. But I did buy it. I am excited to read it. I really want to see how this is going to play. And considering it's called A Fire Endless, I really want to see that fire elemental. And I want to see the development of Adara and Jack as characters outside of their dynamic with one another. Don't get me wrong. While I did like the enemies to lovers romance, and you did get to see a lot of development of their individual characteristics and their individual personalities, I want to see them now more as separate characters and separate entities versus as a one entity trying to come together to work together. So I am excited for the sequel for that reason. And I know Ross is a really good writer. I've read her stuff. I really did enjoy this one as slow as it was. So I really am looking forward to it. So once again, 4 to 5 stars. If you want to go ahead and purchase the book, I will include links in the description below for the purchase. And on that note, I hope you all continue to support me by liking this video, subscribing to my channel, and sharing it with all your book loving friends. You can also become a supporter on Buy Me a Coffee or by purchasing one of my handmade candles. I hope you all have a wonderful rest of your day. And as always, happy reading.